people whose rights are being violated. And there are some steps in that regard. We are waiting to see how those get to be quickened. What I'm referring to is the situation of Dr. Kiza Besigye and other political prisoners belonging to NUP and others who are here, and we pushed government to take action, especially after the ruling of the Supreme Court. Yesterday we were in court. We thought that they were going to attain their freedom. Court said in a few days we shall hear from them. We are waiting. What we are insistent on is to see that these people get to attain their freedom. Honourable Speaker, as we are dealing with that situation, again there is another attendant issue. Kidnappings of citizens have resumed, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as a party, so far, 7 of our members and leaders, whom we know about, because we hear there's several others that have been kidnapped and we are yet to connect with the families, have been kidnapped by goons. And I'm saying goons because these are people who come in ordinary cars, as we call them, drones, in plain clothes, having guns, and they pick people from their cars or kidnap them from the road, some from their homes. So these are unidentifiable people.
Can we use the word unidentified people than using the word goons? Because if they are goons, then why would the government really look on two issues of goons? Let's be polite enough for us to get a solution to this.
Honourable Speaker.
Because kidnap is not correct. It's not correct. So let's use a better word, a parliamentary word.
Honourable Speaker, really, the reason I have used that word is because just like if people attack you in your home.
Honourable Lob, let's use a parliamentary.
Honourable Speaker, let me call them unidentifiable bandits because they are wielding guns. Yeah, but somebody who comes in plain clothes and they have a gun, they've not identified themselves. I'll not use the word goons, okay, but I'll use the word bandit. Because bandits are people who roam around with guns and you cannot identify them. If you find a police officer with a gun, that's different. If you find an army officer with a gun, that's different. It could be a CID operative in plain clothes and they identify themselves as such, that's different. But somebody who is wielding a gun, I honestly don't know. Maybe government will help us understand.
So can you remove the word goons?
I've replaced the word goons with unidentifiable bandits, especially because they are wielding guns. If government, right, Honourable Speaker, if government comes and owns up and says these are our police officers or security officers, I will come here and I'll withdraw that word and they'll say, okay, so government, since your people are the ones who kidnapped these fellows, where are they? And Honourable Speaker, that's the question I'm putting to government. Where are these people? Honourable Speaker, on Sunday.
Honourable Senyonyi.
Yes, right, Honourable Speaker.
Leader of opposition. You're being generic. That people are being kidnapped. Which people are these? Can you give us the names for government to be able to make a follow-up that it was Seungu kidnapped from this place, Anita kidnapped from here, and that kind of thing?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Given that I'm organized, I came very well prepared with the list and I'm going to table them, Right Honourable Speaker. Number 1 is Chinobe Rashid.
There is a clarification.
No, I don't want the clarification.
Madam
Honourable colleague, I've not accepted. Clarification is supposed to be allowed. Let me finish. But I've not tabled yet.
I have allowed a clarification on the previous submission.
Maybe clarification to the Speaker. Me, I have not allowed.
Yes. Please sit.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Based on what you've said, can also the Honourable Leader of Opposition try to tell us when these people were kidnapped, did their families actually report to police? Because that's the standard procedure. Possibly then government can take it on from there. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Now, what we do, when I remember, what we do, let the Leader of Opposition finish submitting, lay the document on paper. I don't know what is the source of the document. Lay it, so then we can ask him, have these people reported the matter to police?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me table the names here with their pictures, by the way. Chinobe Rashid, who was abducted from Nansa na Wakiso. Chiimba Sharif from Mini Price. Nyanzi Fred Sentamu from Wandegea, that's the head of mobilization, NUP. Masi Walukamba, this is the head of the election management committee of NUP. Alex Rovans Rwanyaga is a member of the election management committee of NUP, was abducted from PG. Rahma Juma, a member of the NUP election management committee, also abducted from PG. Kayabula Eddy, also a member of the NUP election management committee, abducted from PG. I'm tabling their names and the pictures.
Just a clarification, which Nyanzi is that? Chairman?
Chairman Nyanzi.
Chairman Nyanzi.
Yes,
okay.
Right Honorable Speaker.
That's our chairman.
Right Honorable Speaker, a colleague has asked, have these matters been reported to police? Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday,
no, you're not
the families of these
Honorable Lob, somebody is disturbing me here that whether I'm no. Chairman Nyanzi was our chairman. He was a chairman of NRM for years in Kamocha. So that's why he got the name chairman. So he's still chairman.
Yeah, and people do change party. I will not talk about the presiding officer. Let me proceed with the issue I was raising. Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday, the families of these people, together with our lawyers, went to police stations from all the areas where they were abducted from, here in Kampala and in PG, because a group of our election management committee members went to bury the mother of one of them in Rakai. On their way back, they were kidnapped from Lungala, Mpiji. Police, all those police stations, they said, we don't know what you're talking about. Honorable Speaker, today, the Uganda Police Force on its social media, its verified social media account, has put out a statement saying they are not the ones who arrested these people. Can government then account? Because if it is not government, then it's probably some rebel outfit within town. And government needs to tell us, are you no longer in charge? But as far as we are concerned, Right Honorable Speaker, of course it is government, because many people have been abducted in similar fashion, and they end up at the military court, and they end up wherever, in torture chambers and so on. Right Honorable Speaker, on Sunday, as I wrap up, on Sunday, government was celebrating the Janani Luwum Day. The Prime Minister led government officials, they were in Kitgum, to celebrate an incredible man who fought against injustice in this country. And government officials kept talking about how Idi Amin's regime was abducting people, it was evil. But you people are doing the same thing. The law prescribes how, if you want to arrest somebody, how you get to do that.
Honorable Member.
I don't know why government does not want to follow the law. We are not even saying that we are above the law. We are saying, if you want to arrest somebody.
We have not confirmed who was abducted. I am going to give an order that I need a report on the people you've laid on table by Tuesday. You cannot start saying government has, first of all you said goons. Now you're saying government. Now we don't know who has arrested these people. So we will find out who has arrested these people, and then if it is government, government will take responsibility.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable, the reason, and I just want to qualify why I am insistent on the fact that...
And I am also saying you've brought your case. Leave it to us to investigate.
Let me wrap up, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like government to account for these people, because many others have been kidnapped in similar fashion, including members of this House, by the way, on the opposition side and the NRM side, in similar fashion. So government knows where these people are.
Who was kidnapped from this House?
The Honorable Paul Akamba. He's an NRM member of Parliament. He was granted bail by a high court in this country. And within court precincts, he was arrested, kidnapped actually, by similar gun-wielding men in plain clothes, and they took him in a drone. That's one of us. And we are here, Right Honorable Speaker, asking government, where is our member?
There is an order.
It's okay.
Madam Speaker, I'm not so sure whether the Honorable Leader of Opposition is in order to keep putting, making allegation after another without any serious evidence against government. Even in your own statement, you are saying everything is unidentifiable. No one knows the goons, no one knows the bandits. Then you're heaping everything on government. I don't think you are in order to keep insinuating. Madam Speaker, I'm wondering whether I'm wondering whether the Honorable Speaker is in order.
Listen to the order. Honorable Lope, you started very, very well. And it is a valid concern. Very valid. People cannot be kidnapped just like that. And we need to know who is kidnapping. What you should ask the government is, we want to know where these people are. One of the roles of government is to make sure they protect the people and the property of these citizens. Basically that.
Thank you for that guidance, Right Honorable Speaker. I know the Honorable Enos, who I'm told is a former RDC, is ambitious to become a Minister of State or something. When you eventually join government, I'll ask you. This question was to government. Where are these people, government? You need to tell us. And Right Honorable Speaker, the reason we become apoplectic over these issues
Honorable
is
Member,
because people get kidnapped, they come back with their fingernails removed and so on.
Honorable
Government
Member,
account for these people. Where are they?
Honorable Member Lope, the presiding officer you have is a very understanding one and understands faster. Government, can I have an accountability of those people by Tuesday?
Madam Speaker, I'm not the Prime Minister.
And this is a Thursday. Tomorrow are we sitting?
Madam Speaker, I want first to say the following, because I'm also a member of this House. Irrespective of you saying that I'm the Minister of Sports, it's true I am, but also I'm part of the executive, unfortunately. So, Madam Speaker, first of all, I think it's important we make the following.
Honorable Minister.
Yes.
Can I finish with my order? Attorney General. Attorney General, the list is there. We need an accountability of those people. We need to know where those people are, who did the abduction, if it is true.
Right Honorable Speaker.
And then you report to the House.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Can I have silence?
Right Honorable Speaker. We will respond as you have requested. I however want to be on record that we are not comfortable with the language that my colleague, the leader of opposition, is using. While it is the obligation of government to protect everyone, and on the basis of that obligation, we agree to account. So on Tuesday we'll come here and make a statement. But I want to reiterate my protest to the diction or the choice of words used by the leader of opposition. We cannot ascertain things like abduction unless confirmed. So the right thing to do is that the leader of opposition has presented a problem to us. The leader of opposition has presented a problem to us. We are going to investigate that problem and respond to Parliament on Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Give me a response on Friday, on Tuesday, on the people that are alleged. You know, it reminds me what OHT was said one time, how to hug a porcupine. how to hug a porcupine. You can get whatever you want, depending on how you behave. Yes, Honorable Gwang. You're done. Yes, Dennis, Derek.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and colleagues, you all know that the late former IGP is from Palisa District, and the family contacted me. They are having difficulties in accessing the Minister of Internal Affairs to... Please, I'm talking to Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I'm requesting for intervention. Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister Derek, Honorable Member Derek, the leader of government business is in the house. And if you wanted me, for heaven's sake, did you need to come to the house? You're one person who gets me anywhere, anytime. Let's not cause an alarm that the ministers are unreachable. No. Eh?
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, yesterday I had an interaction with my brother, Honorable Rone. I think he has got this information today, and I promise that government will come in and assist.
Honorable Prime Minister, I've just seen his note is writing to me. He's saying that government has accorded the IGP Ogola official burial and they are yet to find out what government is saying about Kosi.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I have remembered that the President chairing Cabinet on Monday, I was not clear whether this was from Palisa or elsewhere, gave the former IGP official burial with the honors of police. And you know, when they talk about the official burial,
the two IGPs, there are two IGPs who have died. You're talking about the one of Busia, not Tororo. You're talking about the one of Tororo.
Okay, members.
Members, can I have an order?
That is the fact that I was not aware of the second one. Now that the second one has also died,
The first one was the other one. Yes, the first one was the other one.
Right Honorable Speaker, I need your protection.
Honorable members,
I request for your
please.
protection.
Yes.
The fact is I was not aware of the second one. Right Honorable Speaker, our President is an understanding President. He will definitely accord him official burial, definitely.
Thank you. Honorable members, in the public gallery this afternoon we have a delegation of honorable councillors and technical staff from Nyachera Town Council, Ruhama East County in Tungamo. They are led by the mayor, Mr. Nyagwa Kenneth. You're most welcome. They are represented by Honorable Kamukama Benjamin and Honorable Kamatenti Jocelyn. Most welcome. Thank you for coming. They are here to observe proceedings. Proceed on under which rule? Which rule?
Madam Speaker, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm happy we have the Prime Minister here. On several occasions, I've requested the government, through you, Madam Speaker, to bring a law here governing giving official burials to individuals in the country. That one is very serious. And you have just said, Madam Speaker, that we have a debate here. You can see what has happened now. One of the former IGPs is given official burial, but the Prime Minister, leader of government business, cannot make a decision in front of this house that is so that one have a same official burial, because he has to first seek permission from the General Museveni. So why don't we have a law that clearly specifies who is supposed to get official burial, so that when such an issue happens, you just address it and we go on officially?
Honorable member, whether there is a law or no law, by the way, we have a law. We only need an amendment on that law. Now, some of these things are discretionary to the president. When the president makes a discretion and says, I want this kind of body, I want this kind of official burial, you will not say no. Next item. Minister of... next item.
Motion for withdrawal of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2024.
Yes, Atkins.
Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I bring you feedback from our fellow citizens, especially for your kindness and national leadership that you displayed the last sitting. Madam Speaker, myself and so many others in this chamber had the opportunity, Madam Speaker, to be in court. And yesterday, Madam Speaker, as you might have followed, the judge said the health condition of Dr. Besigye could not give him the ability to attend court.
Honorable Atkins Katushabe, I want to remind you of the constitutional provision on separation of powers. We did our part. The issue is before court. We cannot discuss what is before court. Let's respect the court. And the court will equally respect executive and legislature.
Madam Speaker, I ask that you kindly hear my procedure issue. This has nothing to do with court proceedings. It has everything to do with human life. Madam Speaker, everything that we have on the order paper can wait, but not human life. We had Dr. Besigye's personal doctor and the prison. Madam Speaker, and the prison doctors trying to explain the condition and the urgency need. So everything that we have on the order paper, Madam Speaker, and with due respect, can wait, but not the life of Dr. Besigye and everybody else, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, my procedure issue is just simple. We are citizens, and we are leaders by the grace of God. The reason why we're here is that, as you rightly ruled, we represent those that don't have the privilege and the opportunity to be here. Madam Speaker, we become, and including myself, my procedure issue, Madam Speaker, is, while certainly we're barred from focusing on, discussing court proceedings, I don't think human dignity or human heart bars anybody in this house, including yourself, Madam Speaker, to appreciate the urgency. I want to call.
Before you bring your procedure matter,
yes,
Article 128 of the Constitution, independence of judiciary. In the exercise of judicial powers, the court shall be independent and shall not be subjected to the control of direction of any person or authority. I will not sit in this seat in this house and start directing a court on what to do. We did our part. We spoke for the people. We spoke for the people outside there. Everybody knows the health of doctor, and if somebody cannot see, then that is not parliament.
Now, my procedural issue, Madam Speaker, I'm so happy that you brought and cited the Constitution, and I want to make my position very clear by citing the same Constitution. Madam Speaker, Article 143 prohibits anybody, including the courts, any judge on earth, underneath, or above the earth, to conduct any trial.
You're saying Article 143?
143, Madam Speaker.
That is on a qualification of appointment of judicial officers. I am the custodian of these laws, and I will tell you what it is supposed to be. Next item.
Madam Speaker.
Motion for withdrawal. Defense Forces
Honorable
Amendment
members don't seem to be more concerned about Dr. Besigye than other people. Dr. Besigye.
Are we reading the same Constitution, Madam Speaker?
It seems yours is a
Article 143.
Let's first withdraw. Let's first have this. Let's first have this, then I will give you. Atkins, I will give you. I'll give you.
Yes? Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I move under Rule 140 of the Rules of Procedure that a bill entitled the Uganda People's Defense Forces Amendment Bill 2024 be withdrawn.
Is it seconded? Seconded by the Leader of Government Business, by Honorable Rokia, Honorable David Bahati, Government Chief Whip, by Minister of Finance, by Vuru, by Honorable Gwang, by Honorable Alex, by Government, by Doug, by Minister of Public Service, by Minister of Luero, by the whole side, by Kabanda, by Omoding, by Margaret, Alebutong, Margaret, Ajuri, Komakech, and then Minister of, Chairman of Science and Technology, Mouma, and Chemaswet. Then Betamongi, then Achan, and Loki, and Committee of Defense Chair, and then Seno. Sarah has also seconded. Would you want to speak why you want to withdraw?
Right, Honorable Speaker, the withdrawal of the bill is primarily to enrich the bill and to ensure that we comply with the ruling of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Uganda. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honourable members, you heard what was in the ruling of the Supreme Court. The issue was who heads the court-martial, how are they appointed, who is a civilian, who is a military person, and are you allowed to appeal a decision that has been made by a court-martial? And those are things that I think Honorable Government Chief Whip and we need to comply with what the court ruled. Don't tell me about Article 92. Don't. Honorable members, having listened to the minister's justification for withdrawal of the bill, I now put a question that Uganda People's Defense Amendment Bill 2024 be withdrawn as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the UPDF Amendment Bill 2024 stands withdrawn, and as we await for the new bill, which is proposing that they want to bring a comprehensive bill on UPDF. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, our rules do allow withdrawal of a bill. I just want to caution government that in all that they are planning to do in the next couple of days, hopefully it will be in tandem with the Constitution. Article 92 provides that you cannot pass a law to defeat a court ruling.
Now
I am hoping that government is cognizant of that. Thank you.
You're debating in anticipation.
No, I was just cautioning them. My duty is to keep them in check. Thank you.
Honorable members, if I read that ruling very well, those were orders to Parliament. Article 92 says Parliament shall not pass any law to alter the decision or judgment of any court as between parties. We are not taking a party. We are not siding with any party. We are not siding with any party to the decision of the judgment. So that one, that's a redundant provision. Next item. Now let me read it together with the 91. Read it together with the 91. Why don't you listen? Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the power of Parliament to make laws shall be exercised through bills passed by Parliament and assented by the President. Now, whom do you want to make the laws? It is us here to make the laws, and we shall pass the laws.
Item 3 on the order paper.
Madam Speaker,
statements by ministers on 3-1.
Can I finish my procedural issue?
The Uganda National Examinations Board grading system under the new curriculum.
Let me hear Honorable Atkins. It seems is burning.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, specifically Article 23(1) prohibits,
of innocence.
Yes, Madam Speaker, prohibits any continued detention without an ongoing trial. Madam Speaker, we can read it with Article 120 about transfers. But Madam Speaker, January 31st, on Friday 2025, it was the Supreme Court of the land. The judgment, Madam Speaker, cannot be negotiated.
Honorable Atkins, my very good friend, were you in the house the other day when we discussed that issue?
Madam Speaker,
I am asking, were you in the house when we discussed that issue?
Madam Speaker, I was in the house.
And if you're in the house, we cannot, yes.
Madam Speaker, you asked my friend Atkins if he was in the house the other day. And he said yes. And I believe, and I'm sure that he was not. We can be vindicated by the electronic registration system. I am very sure that Atkins was not here when we were discussing this matter. And he's trying to reopen the debate. So I believe he's not in order.
Order, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, can you have your seats? Have your seats. Honourable members, we made orders in this house, which orders have been followed and are being followed. And I'm following very keenly. Very, very keenly. And the government chief whip, the lead of government business, is equally following up that issue. I don't want people to start thinking like they are more bereaved than others. No. I came out myself without any of you talking. You get it, eh? Next item.
Madam Speaker, can I have this
I
corrected?
am saying, please, next item.
Item 3 on the order paper. Statements by ministers, 3-1. On the Uganda National Examinations Board grading system under the new curriculum.
My rules still work. I'll throw you out of the house, Basa. Sit. You sit. Sit.
Right Honourable Speaker and
Honourable members,
Right Honourable Speaker.
you will recall that on Wednesday, 12th February, members raised concern about the Uganda National Examination Board grading system under the new curriculum. The presiding officer directed the Minister of Education and Sports to present a statement addressing the members' concern and the concern from the public and the misinformation that is outside there in the public. However, before the minister presents the statement, I wish to clarify the following. The new UNEB grading system under the competence-based curriculum has ushered in the change in reporting, grading, and certification of learners. 2, there has been a lot of misinformation and disinformation regarding the category of results issued for UCE. The ministry will clarify on how they categorize this and the implication on the results, where somebody gets results 1, that means a person has passed. If you get result 2, what happens next? The misinformation out there is that you go back to S1, which is not correct. So, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues. You will recall that in 2020, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, rolled out competence-based curriculum for the lower secondary school level. This presented a requirement for assessment reforms that introduced the new components of continuous assessment and project work on top of the existing end-of-cycle examination. Right Honourable Speaker and colleague, the shift from the old system of grading to the new system was warranted by the changes in the curriculum requirements. The previous system was based on content assessment, while the new system is based on competence-based assessment, established standards. The products of this curriculum are confident, can communicate better, have developed the skills to do research and projects in various areas, and can apply the required knowledge, skills, and attitudes in real life situation, rather than just memorizing information for examination. It also focuses on measuring practical proficiency and the ability to solve problems rather than simply recalling facts. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, on 11th February 2024, the Ministry of Education and Sports released results for two sets of the 2024 Uganda Certificate of Education examinations. These were A, the transitional examinations and examinations for the first cohort of the lower secondary school curriculum, which is competence-based. Under this new curriculum, the reporting of achievement levels has changed from the STAIN system, a method of scaling test scores on a 9-point standard scale of 1 to 9. Distinctions, credit, pass, and fail, used in the previous content-based curriculum, to letter grades A, B, C, and E. The achievement levels for each subject is arrived at from scores generated from the continuous assessment of competencies from school level, that is, through continuous assessment, and the scores from competence assessed in the final end of the examination cycle. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the new lower secondary curriculum is competence-based. It focuses on what a learner can do by applying acquired knowledge and skills to solve real-world problems. This has necessitated the changes in its assessment. The new assessment comes with a change in the reporting, grading, and certification. The Uganda National Examination Board, in close consultation with the National Curriculum Development Center, came up with a reporting mechanism that presents a learner's level of achievements in each subject with letter grade A, B, C, D, or E. This was approved by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the level of achievements were arrived at through a systematic and technical processes that combine scores generated from the assessment of competencies at the school level through continuous assessment and end of the cycle examination scores. Additionally, the project work is assessed at school and the achievement level is presented as a standalone on the certificates. The achievement level on the project reveals a learner's creative competence in dealing with actual and contemporary world problems. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the overall score is constituted by the achievements at school level, which is 20%, and end of the examination scores, which are 80%. Structure of transcript and certificate. The Uganda Certificate of Education transcript is an academic document issued by UNEB to all candidates who register for the examination. The key features on the transcript include the level of achievement in each subject represented by letter grades A, B, C, D, and E, as illustrated below. Madam Speaker, I expected my statement would have been uploaded so that colleagues would have seen it on, or it is in the iPad. It's uploaded. Achievement levels and their generic descriptors. If you look at this table, I have a table in A1 is grade. Then we have achievement levels. Then we have a descriptor. Grading A. And we must have seen our children have gotten A. A in achievement level, that is an exceptional. In the descriptor, it demonstrates an extraordinary level of competence in applying innovatively and creatively acquired knowledge and skills in a real life situation. B, it's outstanding. Demonstrates a high level of competences in applying the required knowledge and skills in a real life situation. C, satisfactory, demonstrates an adequate level of competence in applying the required knowledge and skills in a real life situation. D, demonstrates a minimum level of competence in applying the acquired knowledge and skills in a real life situation. E, elementary, demonstrates below the basic level of competence in applying the acquired knowledge and skills in a life cycle. B, conditions for certification under the competence-based assessment. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, a candidate is eligible to obtain a certificate when he or she sits for a minimum number of 8 subjects as provided by the curriculum and must obtain at least grade D in any of the subjects sat. This is what is referred to as result 1. 2. A candidate who sat for less than 8 subjects or did not sit compulsory subject or did not have continuous assessment scores or project work scores are not eligible for a certificate. This is what is referred as result 2. Note, for the academic year 2024, all the candidates had continuous assessment scores as submitted by the respective schools. 3. Candidates who score only E in the subjects taken will not get a certificate, but will receive a transcript which shows their level of achievement. This is what is referred to as result 3. 4. Candidates who registered for examination and did not sit for examination or sat for a few subjects are not eligible for a certificate, but will obtain a transcript. This is what is referred to as result 4. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, all candidates who registered for examinations are eligible for a UCE transcript. Sample transcript. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, the transcript and certificate will indicate, among other features, the candidate's photograph, student's biodata, subject code and name, the grade in each subject, and the project work. On the reverse side will be explanations and. Madam Speaker and honourable colleagues, you can see an example of what we call a transcript for Uganda National Certificate of Education Examination. We have the student there called UNEB. The school is also called UNEB High School. The box number is 7766. Kampala, Uganda. Cadet's date of birth is there. The date is there. Then now we have subject codes are there. We have subject names
There's
are there.
The
grades are there.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you. Right Honourable Speaker, the rules of this House require that you as presiding officer, you ensure that every MP is seated comfortably. Those with the specific challenges, you make provisions. Right Honourable Speaker, there are colleagues here who have specific challenges who cannot comfortably sit on the provided seats. And you have always made some special cases here. My colleague Nambozi is just standing here. I also have challenges with mine. I have to sit in a relatively more spacious place. Here we are seated with difficulty. Right Honourable Speaker, are we proceeding well when some of us are actually under difficult challenges in the sitting arrangement? Right Honourable Speaker, are we proceeding well?
Honourable Asuman had already ordered the clerk, the sergeant, to bring me 3 chairs and not separate chairs. Take back your chairs. Take back your chairs. I told you I want 3 chairs, one for a call, who is too long that he can't fit in those seats. 2, the second one is for Basalira, who has a back problem, and then Honorable Madam Teacher. Honorable Nambose. Yes. No, they are bringing. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But maybe not to deviate from my statement, for purposes of the chairman of the Parliamentary Football Club, for a man to have back problems, I leave it to us here. But, Madam Speaker, let me continue with my statement. And I've been told that the Minister of Gender is asking if he has a wife or wives. But that is not my purpose why I'm here. Let me proceed with my statement. Madam Speaker, I was showing members a transcript for the Uganda Certificate of Education examinations. And you can see from the screen there that we have what we call a subject code. We have the subject, English, maths, history, and political education, geography, physics, chemistry, biology, ICT, CRE, and project work. If you look at the grades in the candidate of UNEB, A, B, C, A, they are there. The scores are all there. Let me go now to the descriptors, the samples are shown below. Grade, achievement level, a descriptor. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, A, I want to repeat, talks about exceptional. If your kid has scored A, under the descriptors, it demonstrates that that child has an extra level of competency by applying innovatively and creatively required knowledge and skills in a real lifetime. Why are we insisting on acquired knowledge and skills? This is the main purpose of the new curriculum of the competence-based. And I know it will be able to take us some time, but I want to say this is the best world we can now be for purpose of education. Number 2, B, outstanding, demonstrates a high level of competency by applying the acquired knowledge and skills in a real life situation. C, satisfactory, demonstrates an adequate level of competency by applying the required knowledge and skills in a real life situation. D, basic, demonstrates a minimum level of competence in applying the acquired knowledge and skills in a real life situation. E, elementary, demonstrates below the basic level of competence in applying the acquired knowledge and skills in a real life situation. My colleague from Bale, if I'm correct, is telling me is a failure. And I want to confirm that's a fact. So important to note, the subject grade was computed from continuous assessment at end of the cycle scores. 2, the transcript is not a certificate. Any errors detected, of course, must be reported to Uganda National Examination Board immediately. UNEB, to remind us, reserves the right to correct the information given on the transcript, which will be confirmed by the issuance of a certificate. Then explanation notes, results 1, candidates who qualify to get a certificate. Result 2, candidates who did not fulfill the conditions for award of a certificate. Result 3, candidates who do not meet the minimum level of achievements and in all subjects. Candidate 4, candidates who were absent. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I also want to give this information to the August House. The Senior 5 selection criteria. The computerized system at Uganda National Examination Board will provide the selection list for Senior 5 as has always been the case, and this will be a basis for admission and placement. Conclusion. I wish to thank the Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues for giving the Minister of Education and Sports an opportunity to clarify issues regarding reforms in the assessment of candidates under the new lower secondary curriculum. I said this for God and my country. We will continue as a ministry to engage the public and even as members to make sure that we all come to par with this new development. I thank you.
Yes, there's a procedural matter, then Shadow.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank my honorable brother and Minister for Education. Madam Speaker, there's no trade-off, and there will always be a possible conflict. And Madam Speaker, the death of any nation on earth begins with that country compromising the quality of education. Mr. Minister, sir, like everybody in this chamber, education is the engine, the heartbeat of this nation. I don't know, Madam Speaker, for how long are we going to have changes in curriculum? We are destroying the future of our sons and daughters, and as a result, the future of this country. Madam Speaker, my procedural issue is just simple to the minister, and that was a brilliant submission, Mr. Minister. My procedural issue, Madam Speaker, is can the minister give this House and the country at large how much research that you did before you arrived at this? And, Madam Speaker, procedurally, the reason why we support universities is to generate knowledge. And I want to know from our minister how much of the knowledge produced by universities was consumed by his ministry in arriving at this particular decision, without which, Madam Speaker, the future of this country, and specifically the education, is at stake.
Thank you, Minister Wright. Keep writing. There's a procedure matter.
Right on, Speaker.
Sergeant, as you remove that, you can put the single chairs there.
Earlier on, the Honorable Atkins raised the issue of human rights. I thought he would raise it again because we said this can actually wait. We know this grading and Honorable Sewung is going to give us a version. But right on, Speaker, when the issue was raised, there was insinuation that this is a matter before court. We agree. But right on, Speaker, Dr. Besigye was brought to court at the intervention of this House. Not directing, but intervention. Right on, Speaker, ideally, I would have expected that executive comes and reports what is the status at the moment. Because we agreed here, there was even a meeting that I attended. The government chief whip was there, the deputy attorney general was there, and the minister for justice reported that Besigye would be brought to court. That was yesterday. Wouldn't it be procedurally right? Information, yes. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Attorney General.
Information, yeah.
The thing is overcoming. Can you just give us information? No.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Asmani's prayer is that we brief the House on the status of the matter that is in a court regarding the matter that the Honorable Minister of Education has presented. if given the right opportunity, Right Honorable Speaker, on Tuesday would be in position to respond.
On regarding Dr. Besigye?
Right Honorable, the question that Honorable Asumani brought was not, if I understood clearly, it was not in respect of Besigye.
Right,
Maybe he
Speaker.
can clarify.
Right on, Speaker. In this house here, we agreed that government actually undertook through the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs that Dr. Besigye would be brought before court, the civilian court. And indeed, he was brought to court. The procedural issue, Right Honourable Speaker, I raised is whether we are proceeding right before or without a status report pursuant to the agreement we had here from the Attorney General. And it was at that point, Right Honourable Speaker, that I had ceded space to Honourable Judicial to provide more information. Then I conclude on that issue before the Attorney General comes, Right Honourable Speaker.
So can you conclude on the issue?
I had ceded for information from Judicial, Right Honourable Speaker.
Which I'm not giving.
Oh, okay. Now that you are not giving it, Right Honourable Speaker, which is your discretion, which we respect, Learned Attorney General, since there were commitments and undertakings made on the floor, wouldn't it be better for you to come and update this House on the status report or progress of the commitments and undertakings that we took without necessarily delving into the merits of the case?
Right Honourable Speaker, in the past few weeks, our honourable colleagues across the aisle have been pressing and demanding that Dr. Besigye be produced in court.
Civilian
courts. On behalf of government, we have time and again committed to meet all the requirements as stated by the Supreme Court. Pursuant to your ruling the other day, the Honourable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs did commit once again to fulfill the requirements of the Supreme Court decision. And indeed yesterday, the Honourable Dr. Kiza Besigye was produced before Justice Dr. Singiza, and I believe the prayer that my colleagues across the aisle had always been pressing for was that Besigye be produced before a civilian court. That was done yesterday. And for now, that's what I can report. Because the processes are still ongoing, I need not delve into what may be considered to be sub judice. Thank you.
Order. Procedure. Procedure. Procedure.
You know, there is no lie. If you have information, it is additional information. But what the Attorney General has said is correct, that it was produced before the court yesterday. So what happened? What happened? Are we in management of court process?
What was done yesterday, Madam Speaker, was not what this parliament had intended. Madam Speaker, listen to me. Madam Speaker, Parliament had wished that Dr. Besigye be produced in civil courts to be charged or tried in civil courts. Who produces Dr. Besigye in civil courts? It is the state. The state. Dr. Besigye appeared yesterday in court on another issue, and it was on an application made by his lawyers about a different thing. As we speak now, Madam Speaker, Dr. Besigye has not been charged or arraigned before any court, as we, Parliament, had intended. It is a lie.
Honorable Prime Minister, let the government speak.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. Article 128 is very clear. Use your constitution or use your iPad. Article 128 is very clear. The independence of the courts, and so we cannot order court to do anything.
Honorable Sewungu. Honorable Sewungu. Shadow Minister. Shadow Minister of Education. Honorable members. Honorable members. If you feel court is not doing enough, court is very near. Let's walk to court and ask the judge, why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Huh? Yes.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I want to thank you for what you did the other day. You did great when you allowed Madam Speaker, I want to thank you and the entire country.
Maybe you have information from, just a minute before you come in. There's information Attorney General wants to give you.
Perhaps to add to my earlier statement, it was a requirement of the court that a number of files be transferred. The files that were originally before the court martial be transferred to a civil court.
To DPP.
Yes. Right Honourable Speaker, I wish to report to the House that the transfer has been done. Now, I humbly request that you allow the technical people look through the files and advise on the next step of action.
Order.
Thank you.
Order.
Mojiche.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, my concern is that the purpose for which we met and asked the executive to bring closer the appearance of Dr. Besigye is being defeated. Because you remember you raised this issue very passionately and we had a purpose. Yesterday, when Dr. Besigye appeared, the judge said this man is too sick, he can't even sit here for 30 minutes. Let him go back to prison. Today, he could not even make it to court in another court at Uganda Road, and the magistrate had to step trial for 2 months because he cannot appear in court. Yesterday, he was able to be there for 20 minutes. Today, he could not appear. So for somebody to say, let the technocrats go and look at the files when somebody is dying in prison, I mean, how human can we be? How? So, because the purpose for bringing closer, why did we have to sit and say, no, 25th is too far. Let him appear tomorrow. And that's what we did.
Madam Speaker, and colleagues, I need to be protected.
Members,
permit me to clarify To my honorable colleagues, Mwijucha and others, once files are transferred to the DPP, the files are perused, and the DPP would make a determination whether there is a case or not. Please allow me finish.
Let him finish.
Once the DPP receives a file, the DPP is supposed to read the facts on the file, and if the DPP is convinced that the facts and evidence reveal a case, then the file will be sanctioned.
So the file is with the DPP?
So I want to tell you that the files have been transferred to the civil court and to the DPP. So I humbly request that you await the determination of the technical people.
Right on
the
Speaker.
matter.
Right on Speaker.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, can we urge the lawyers of Dr. Besigye to make a follow-up on this matter with the DPP? And if some of you are lawyers to Dr. Besigye, can you kindly make a follow-up with the DPP and then to the court? That is what we should do.
Oops. Honorable Speaker, I just thought that the Attorney General would clarify a statement he has made here. He has said that files have been transferred and they are with technical people. Kindly elucidate. Who has transferred files to where? At what point does the DPP come in? Because you see, the DPP, according to our constitution, for those of you that don't know, the DPP is meant to operate independently. The DPP sanctions police files, not court files. So we would want to know about that process. What exactly happened? Have you as Attorney General gone, hold on, calm down, calm down, calm down. Have you as Attorney General gone and ordered the DPP here sanction these files? Because that's important. It's a matter of the law and a matter of the constitution. How is the DPP coming into this situation? Or did you just say you got these files from this court and you took them to a court registrar and said, schedule these ones? Please elucidate on that issue.
Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker. The Supreme Court ordered that the files be transferred
to the civilian court.
The other day, on Tuesday when we were here, the Right Honourable Speaker made an order to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Minister of Internal Affairs, and myself as the Deputy Attorney General to go and see
Honorable
to
members, please listen.
To go and see to it that the transfer is done. We went and immediately returned here. The Minister of Justice reported to this House that the transfer processes were ongoing. And now I'm here to confirm to you that those files have been transferred. Thank you.
Honorable members, you've heard the files have been transferred. They are in DPP. We are going to make a follow-up, and I will make a follow-up also myself. Next item.
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on weather patterns in Uganda.
Honorable members, I gave you time. You diverted the debate. Or let me hear from only the shadow minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, in the first place, I want to thank the Government Chief Whip, Honorable Hamson Oboa, for the practice you developed since you took up office. Because when you raise our matters here, you write to relevant ministers and you give us copies of what you have written to them. And I want to affirm that I got the letter as you wrote in regard to the matter I raised here. Madam Speaker, let me thank the Minister of Education for attempting to respond to this issue. But I am seeking for your indulgence that if you could permit this shadow minister, our side, to prepare to respond to the minister's statement carefully. Because, Madam Speaker, I want to first quote briefly, as you allow me.
You want to write a response. You don't need to quote. Bring a response and we debate two of them.
Madam Speaker, I just want to give justification.
No.
A brief justification.
Bring a response in written and we shall discuss both of them. Next item.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Bring a response.
You have not given us the date.
Tuesday.
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on weather patterns in Uganda.
Honorable members, as you may have observed, many parts of this country is experiencing unfavorable weather conditions or patterns which may affect various livelihoods. Pursuant to Rule 52 of the Rules of Procedure, I now invite the Minister of Water, Environment to present a statement to that effect. Honorable Minister of Water.
Item 4, motion for reconsideration of the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 as returned by His Excellency the President in accordance with Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution and Rule 143 of the Rules of Procedure.
Honorable Prime Minister, leader of government business, we cannot afford having business on the order paper and new ministers just decide not to come to the house. They should equally know that we also have work. If you're in the house, who are they? Honorable members, as you may recall, the Employment Amendment Bill 2022 was passed by this House on 25th May 2023 and transmitted to HE, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for assent in a furtherance to Article 91, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The President evoked Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution and returned the bill for reconsideration of the House through a letter dated 13th November 2023. The bill was referred to the Committee for Reconsideration, and pursuant to Rule 143(2) of the Rules of Procedure, the committee has reconsidered the bill and is ready to report. And in furtherance to Rule 143(3) of Rules of Procedure, I will invite the sponsor of the bill, that's the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, to move a motion for reconsideration. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 be read the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by Attorney General, Honorable Gwang, Honorable Musasisi, Honorable Bua, Honorable Public Service, Honorable Leader of Government Business, Honorable Lawrence Zombo, Lawrence Songa, Honorable Goli, Honorable Derrick, Honorable Gafabusa, David, Patience, Werik, Wandas, and Honorable Query, Honorable Annette Mugisha, Honorable Anthony, Honorable Committee of Defense. Even Honorable Musasis, of course, was there. Honorable Aru, Chut, Emmanuel, Connie, Namtebi, Dr. Peya, Tusime, Butaleja, David, Shatis, Honorable Finance, Honorable Court, Honorable Amos, the Karachuna Lokwang, and Afidra, Avuru, Honorable Awich Jen, then Honorable from Fort, Jessica, and then Doctor. And my lecturer Choma, Daisy, Kunihira, Agnes, then Atima. Yes, would you love to speak to your motion? Justification.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, His Excellency the President wrote to you on 13th November 2023, pursuant to his power under Article 93(3)(b of the Constitution, and returned for further consideration about 4 of the clauses in the Employment Amendment Bill. The first issue is on the definition. On the definition, His Excellency the President would like us to reconsider the word arbitration and adjudication. Adjudication is a legal word that is majorly used by judicial officers, and His Excellency the President felt that we should remove the word adjudication, because here we were saying labor officers under the Act are the first court of instance for labor-related disputes between the employer and employees. So the 2 words that we had given for purpose of power of the labor officer is to adjudicate and arbitrate. And the President is saying the power of adjudication should remain with judicial officers, and we retain the power of arbitration with the labor officers. That's the first issue that His Excellency the President feels that we narrow the power only to arbitration. The second issue is the issue of casualization of workers. In the bill, Section 6, which proposed 34A2, was providing that when a casual worker works with an employer for 6 months, it becomes mandatory for his employment terms to be transitioned or converted from a casual labor to a permanent, without any condition, without any assessment, without any criteria. And His Excellency the President gave example that in Karoma Hydropower, we had over 5,000 casual workers, and those positions were not anywhere in the structure of the hydropower plant construction. He also gave an example of Industrial Park Tiangtian, where you have over 2,000 casual workers who come on a daily basis, and they work and they go away. And you cannot accommodate 2,000 casual workers in the structure of the organization. So if you say after 6 months, it's automatic and compulsory that you transition a casual worker to a permanent worker, first you are violating their right. Because everybody has a right to consent if they want that form of employment or not. 2, all the employers have the right to also decline based on assessment of the workers and the availability of the position. Number 3, international law also requires that there are certain criteria you follow and procedure you follow when you are converting an employee from casual to permanent. Therefore, His Excellency the President guided that we should delete the provision that makes it compulsory that immediately 6 months lapses, the person compulsorily becomes a permanent employee. The other issue which His Excellency returned is the definition of foreign recruitment agency. In the bill which was sent to him, we were defining foreign recruitment agency to be an agency that has been accredited by Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. However, under the international law, the Ministry of Gender does not have jurisdiction to go and accredit a foreign agency in another country. We cannot go to UAE or Qatar or Saudi Arabia or London and accredit a foreign recruitment agency. So His Excellency the President guided that return it and make it that the accreditation be done by the Uganda mission responsible in that particular country, so that the employees here and the companies here can link with our embassy that has vetted and accredited those foreign employment agency. So those are the areas and those are the rationale for returning of the bill.
Now that the Minister has almost given everything, would you summarize, Chair? This is a returned bill.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we are here to report. This is a report of the Committee of Gender, Labor and Social Development on the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 as returned by HE the President. Right Honorable Speaker, as you have mentioned, the Minister has already taken us through page 1, 2, and 3. I will now go straight to the role of the committee on the consideration of the bill returned by HE the President. His Excellency the President returned the Employment Amendment Bill number 2, Bill 2022. Number 2, Bill 2022, under Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution, with the request that some provisions of the bill be reconsidered by Parliament. The article provides that the President shall, within 30 days after the bill is presented to him or her, if not assented to under Article 91(3)(a), return the bill to Parliament with the request that the bill or a particular provision of it be considered by Parliament. Article 91(4) of the Constitution provides that where a bill has been returned to Parliament, Parliament is required to reconsider the bill.
Chair, could I ask something? Do you have a point of departure with a letter of the President?
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker.
On which clause?
We have a point of departure on the issue of the amendment suggested by the President on page 2, amendment of Act removes the powers of adjudication from the labor officer. The President had suggested that the amendment, let me read that as it is, because it is a definition. Adjudication means a form of dispute settlement in which the labor officer considers the evidence that arguments of both parties to a labor dispute upon which he or she makes a decision binding on the parties to the dispute. We have amended to remove the part of binding because it violates the right of appeal. That is, it is an improvement on what the HE suggested. Then on the issue,
you've done what?
In the proposal from HE, it was he was suggesting that the decision of the labor officer should be binding to both parties. But we are saying it can't be binding because there is an option of an appeal. So it will be violating the right of individuals to appeal. That is the only part we have dropped.
No, it can be binding, but where one party does not feel contented, then you can go to court.
But it was the way it was being captured in a definition. It say because we are making a definition.
Let's first sort out that.
Right, Honourable Speaker, the problem started with the word adjudication, which ordinarily means hearing a dispute inter parties and making judgment, because judgment comes from adjudication. Now, and once judgment is passed, legally it is binding. And yet in this case, you are using a labor officer as an arbitrator. So His Excellency the President's position is that the adjudicator should be an arbitrator, so that his decision is not binding on the parties. That's why the chair and the committee are proposing the removal of the word binding. The parties are at liberty to either agree or seek redress in a higher court.
And yourself?
I'm in agreement with the proposal, removing the word binding.
Okay.
Right, Honourable Speaker, another departure is on the insertion of the new clause 34A on casual employment. According to His Excellency the President, maintaining 34A2, which proposes that a person working as a casual employee continuously for more than 6 months is deemed to have entered a contract of service, will attract legal obligations on the part of the employer, and that had not been anticipated and are more likely to increase unemployment, as employers will shun persons willing to be employed. And we are not in agreement. The committee recommended that we keep the proposal as it is in the Amendment Act, and we have justification.
What is the proposal?
Right, Honourable Speaker, allow me to read it from the Amendment Act.
Yes, AG.
Right Honorable Speaker, this is 34A, casual employment, as per the Amendment Act that was passed by Parliament. A person shall not employ another person as a casual employee for a continuous period exceeding 6 months. Where a person employs another person as a casual employee for a period exceeding 6 months, the person shall at the expiry of the 6 months be deemed to have entered into a contract of service with the casual employee.
That's what we are suggesting.
That is what was there. And allow me also to
even in the Parliament here, we employ you for 6 months. We assess your performance. After the 6 months, we can give you for 2.5 years. How can you say that? Yes, that's very dangerous. Let's first hear from Attorney General.
Madam Speaker, I want to emphasize the position of His Excellency the President on this. For us to sit here and say a casual laborer who works for you for a period exceeding 6 months automatically gains a contract of service. One, this would be a contradiction from the definition of a casual employee under the law. A casual employee is defined as a person who works on a daily or hourly basis where payment of wages is due at the completion of each day of work. Now you are saying you have 5,000 employees because your target is that you want to finish this work within 6 months. But beyond that, you are saying they automatically now become as if they have gained a contract. Now, it is wrong. And in addition to being wrong, it is also going to scare away investors. Or even you yourselves, you will start to think twice before employing someone. Or what you will do is that after they serve for the 5th month, you fire them. So it will kill job security. So I humbly pray that this 34A be dropped.
Honorable Ekanya.
Madam Speaker, our rule of handling bills that is referred by the President is clear. Normally, once the committee has established the areas of dissent and agreed, the committee reports the House, indicating the area they have agreed, and then the House only now looks at those areas of dissent. Now that those issues have been harmonized, Madam Speaker, isn't it proper that we move to committee? Because, Madam Speaker, some of us have very serious matter that you guided on Tuesday. These issues of life of Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, you gave directives, and there were 5 areas that you gave directive, Madam Speaker. And we want to thank you, Madam Speaker, that on Tuesday you dedicated hours and you raised important issues. And even the House was suspended. Madam Speaker, the people of Uganda took that decision that took us very, very serious. You suspended the House for 15 minutes, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Justice went out, and this issue was handled very well. Madam Speaker, we want to seek for your indulgence further, that the same spirit that you guided the House on Tuesday, that the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, really goes out to engage, to ensure that medical service is provided to Dr. Colonel Kizza Besigye so that we save his life, Madam Speaker. I beg for your indulgence.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I will make a follow-up on the issue of the life of Dr. Besigye. Please do that with the Attorney General. But he also raises a pertinent issue that will go to committee stage, since you have only 2 issues of dissent.
Speaker, much as the Attorney General has already submitted, allow me to mention...
You'll do it when we reach that clause.
I wanted to bring out the justification why the committee.
You will do it when you reach that clause. Is that motion seconded that we go to committee stage? Seconded by Honorable Pius, Honorable Milton, Honorable Kanya, Honorable CPA Masaka, by government, lead of government business, by my uncle from Karamoja, by Honorable Shatis, Margaret, by the whole house. Thank you. I now put a question that the Employment Amendment Bill 2023, as returned by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, in accordance with the Article 93, Sub-Article 3B of the Constitution and Rule 143 of the Rules of Procedure, be reconsidered by this Honorable House. Those in favor say and the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
The Employment Amendment Bill 2023, as returned by His Excellency the President, bills committee stage. Clause 1.
Chair.
Honorable Chair, Clause 1 interpretation. Clause 1 is amended A by inserting the following new definition in its appropriate alphabetical order. Adjudication means a form of dispute settlement in which a labor officer considers the evidence and arguments of both parties to a labor dispute upon which he or she makes a decision. B, by substituting paragraph E, the following. A foreign recruitment agency means a legal entity registered under the laws of the country other than Uganda, which is accredited by Uganda Mission Abroad and licensed by the ministry to recruit Ugandans to work abroad. Justification. The amendment is in alignment with the President's proposal to reinstate the power of adjudication to labor officers and to define the word in the context of the Act. To ensure that the foreign recruitment agency has legal recognition in the laws of its country. The proposal is in line with the current practice where foreign recruitment agencies are being accredited by Uganda missions abroad. To ensure that the definition of foreign recruitment agency, that it's an agency accredited to recruit migrant workers abroad in accordance with Regulation 7 of the Employment Recruitment of Uganda Migrant Workers, Regulation 2021, which requires a person that intends to transact recruitment business has a license issued by the ministry. To ensure that Uganda migrant workers are lawfully recruited to work abroad, to ensure that the Line Ministry remains involved in issues of foreign recruitment agency, since it is the one mandated with the regulatory recruitment of labor business, regulation of recruitment of labor business under the Employment Act Cap 226.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I concur.
Thank you, AJ.
Honorable Chair, I'm in agreement.
I put a question at clause 1 as amended. Be amended as proposed by the committee. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1 as amended.
I put a question that clause 1 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4.
Madam Chair, Clause 4, amendment of Section 13 of the Principal Act. Clause 4 is substituted with the following. 4. Amendment of Section 13 of the Principal Act. Section 13 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 1A by repealing the word arbitration. Justification: to reinstate adjudication as one of the methods that labor officer, who is the first point of contact in the labor, to apply in settling a labor dispute. 2. To ensure proper case management of matters in the industrial court by reducing on the referrals made to it under Section 4.1 of the Labor Arbitration and Settlement Act 227. The amendment is in line with the recommendations of H.E. the President.
Thank you. Minister?
Chair, I concur.
AJ?
I concur.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
9.
Honorable Chair, the committee jumped clause 6.
Clause 6.
Why did you jump clause 6 when it was part of the letter?
Madam Chair, we are guided by the legal team that there is, because the committee had dropped the amendment on it to retain what is already in the Amendment Act. We did not take it because our justification, as you say, they should read out by the justification why at this level. I request you allow me to read it. The proposal is in line with objective. The proposal to drop the clause that had already been approved in the Amendment Act is in line with the objective 14 of the national objectives of the directive principles of state of policy of 1995 Constitution, which impose a duty on the state to ensure that all Ugandans enjoy the rights, opportunities, and access to work, pension, retirement benefits, and international instruments such as the International Convention of Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, that ILO Convention on the requirement for just and decent conditions of workers for all employees. 2, the proposal does not contradict the definition of casual employee under Section 2 the Employment Act of the Employment Act, and neither does it deter investors from employing Ugandans as casual employees. The definition states that a casual worker will be paid on the day worked.
Thank you.
2, 3, the proposal is already in force according to Employment Act Regulation 2011 under Regulation 39(1) and 2, which states that a person shall not be employed as a casual employee for a period exceeding 4 months as a casual employee engaged continuously for 4 months, and shall be entitled a written contract, and shall cease to be a casual employee, and all rights, benefits enjoyed by other employees shall apply to him or her. Therefore, the committee sought to provide the same principle in the Act. Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, the regulation, employment regulation, gazetted states exactly like that. Number 4, the proposal.
Let me first refer you to Rule 143(2). The Speaker shall refer the bill to the relevant committee, and the committee shall consider the request of the President and report to the House. You do not have to choose what to report and not what to report. You report according to what the President has asked you to amend. You do not bring in your issues. Now, secondly, a casual worker, a casual laborer. Define what a casual laborer is. That's number 1. 2, if you're saying that automatically it goes on to permanent and pensionable, these are industries assuming the industry is working for a period of say 5, 6, 7, 8 months, how does he become a permanent? Will you continue engaging him even when the time has ended? And as a construction site like Bujagali, which the president referred to. In addition, Chair, in addition,
Chair, there are some people who accept to work as casual laborers.
And this one is like a seasonal crop, like sugarcane. Sugarcane has its time. So will you say that even at the time when the sugarcane is being planted, you're still my laborer?
Chair, in addition, it is like a grasshopper business. Yes. Somebody adopts casual laborers for a period of 1 month. And then there are some people who accept to be casual laborers in the period they are working with you, and they are okay with that status. And so we do not want this business of 6 months have elapsed, and then the investor decides to chase you away and adopts other laborers.
You're going to chase away our investors.
Casual laboring is not the same as probational laborers.
Attorney General? Attorney General?
Madam Chair, I do understand the committee chairperson's position. She's an MP for workers. But you see the dynamics are such that we move to have this proposal deleted because its justification is not tenable. It will cause a bigger problem for us all.
Draft.
No, I'm not redrafting, Right Honorable. I'm moving to have the proposal deleted.
So should be deleted, Chairperson.
Before I concede,
we are in agreement as a House with the President.
Chair, before I concede, I have to put the record right. This is a statutory government document from government, and it states exactly like it is in the law. So for us, it is here.
This is a subsidiary legislation.
So I agree with you.
That is a statutory instrument. Differentiate, honorable members, differentiate between a principal legislation and subsidiary legislation. Okay? And the act is principle. Yes, I want first finish with these two people. Yes. The three.
Chair, when I appeared before the committee, I made it clear that the regulation, when a regulation is inconsistent with the national law or international law, the regulation becomes void. And I pledged before them that we shall amend the regulation and remove that provision.
Thank you. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. But I wanted her to come and comment on this record.
She has she has rectified.
I painfully concede.
No. Chair.
I concede.
Honorable members, Clause 6 is amended by deletion as proposed by His Excellency the President. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Clause 9.
Madam Chair, Clause 9, amendment of Section 9 of the Principal Act. The bill is amended, Clause 9, in the proposed subsection 39B1 by inserting immediately after the word may, insert the words on the recommendation of the permanent secretary. Justification. The mandate of the technical team is to advise the minister on the business of the ministry in accordance to Article 1743 of 1995 Constitution, and yet there is need to hold someone accountable for the licenses issued by the ministry, and so it should be the minister who is the head of the ministry to ensure that Parliament is able to hold the minister answerable directly on the prevalent issues pertaining allegations of abuse of migrant workers by recruitment agencies. The proposal is in line with the submission of the Attorney General and the Ministry, which stated that Parliament considers that the technical team handles the matter and make recommendation to the Minister. Under this case, the line technical person is the Commission.
Minister?
Honorable Chair, the proposal which we had mooted was that it be the commissioner, not the permanent secretary, because His Excellency the President guided an Attorney General that the technical person who fails to do their work at a departmental level is a commissioner. Now, in the case of a permanent secretary, the permanent secretary might not even be in having the technical knowledge of that department. Let's say Ministry of Energy, you have a permanent secretary who is not having qualification, and you put that the person is the one to scrutinize and recommend. When something happens, the person would not have had the technical know-how. So the Attorney General had advised that we put commissioner instead of the permanent secretary. Maybe he can guide further.
Yes, AG.
Right Honourable Speaker, the clause we are referring to, Right Honourable Chair, okay, Madam Chair, the clause is about licensing recruitment agencies. And our proposal is that it should be the commissioner in charge of labor to do the licensing.
Yes. Chair?
Madam Chair, the committee had proposed the permanent secretary, but I will concede if that is what the ministry prefers.
Thank you. Honorable members, the PS that we have in an institution is a PS for all the sectors. PS for this, for all the sectors. But the direct person is a commissioner in charge of labor, and the president also needs to be guided. Much as you could have said the PS, it needs to be guided that the right person, the direct person, is the technical person. In this is the commissioner. Yes. Pardon?
Chair.
When there is change of commissioner,
yes,
the next commissioner comes and takes over.
Yes, we might put the nomenclature of the commissioner, and the ministry changes. You find that the one who is in charge is no longer a commissioner, is an assistant commissioner.
How does the ministry change?
No, they have been changing the structure. It's not the first time. It must be the person who is in charge of labor.
The title commissioner is standard in a government.
Right, Honorable Speaker. When you are legislating, it must be worded the person who is in charge of labor, not the title, because they can change the title anytime. We are not going to be coming back here every day.
Honorable Abedi, we could stick on what is existing. The legal regimes change as time comes in. When they change it, we make changes. I mean, they are not cast on stone. Could we hear from Attorney General? Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the practice which has been when we are doing legislation and bills here, we put the permanent secretary. Why? Because the permanent secretary is accounting officer. The aspect of saying the permanent secretary is not qualified, the permanent secretary has professionals below him or her. And he always delegates, files are prepared.
Honorable, this is specific on labor and employment issues. We have issues of youth, children, social development, not on that ministry, gender. We have so many issues.
Madam Chair,
this is a specific responsibility.
Madam Chair,
yes,
according to the appointment, I beg you just to conclude. According to the appointment even provided within the Constitution, the permanent secretary is the accounting officer and is in charge of all actions and omission of that ministry.
Chair, what the provision is talking about is about a mandate of issuing a license. It is not about supervision, management. It is about issuing a license. It is not general specific.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I want my colleagues to understand. You apply to the Ministry of Gender seeking for a license. The permanent secretary is the technical head of the ministry. He has to look at the ministry from A to Z. So there is also a time factor. You want a license, but the permanent secretary, he has several other things to do. But good enough, the ministry has a specific desk, a specific department for labor, under which the license you are seeking falls. So that's why we are saying the commissioner in charge of labor should be in charge of licensing. I beg to submit.
And maybe just also to answer Honorable Kanya, I want to refer you to Article 164(2). Any person holding a political or public office who directs or concurs in the use of public funds contrary to the existing instructions shall be accountable for any loss arising from the use or shall be required to make good the loss, even if he or she ceases to hold that office. Now, it is not only the PS. Even you, when you come and we give you responsibility, you are accountable for whatever you have been given to do. I put a question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the committee. Amended as proposed by the committee, and amended by the Minister of Gender, and further amended by the Attorney General. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9 as amended.
I put a question that clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
10.
Madam Chairperson, Clause 10 amendment of Section 55 of the Principal Act. Clause 10 is amended by substituting for paragraph A the following. A, in subsection 1A, by substituting for the words first months, the words first 2 months. The proposal is in line with the recommendations of HE, the President. It removes the ambiguity. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister?
We concur.
AG?
We are in agreement with the proposal.
I put a question that clause 10 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10 as amended.
I put a question clause 10 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the resumption of the House.
Minister?
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the Whole House report thereto.
I put a question that the House does resume and the Committee of the whole House reports there too. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Goli. And your team first come back.
I beg to report that the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 and passed with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts the Committee of the whole House. The report of the Committee of the whole House.
Reconsiders. This is a reconsideration.
I beg to move that the House, to report that the House has reconsidered the bill entitled the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister. Move for adoption.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report
to
move that the House has considered.
As the House adopts.
The House adopts the report of the committee on the bill, the Employment Amendment Bill.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House as returned by His Excellency the President. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading. The Employment Amendment Bill 2023 as returned by His Excellency the President.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Employment Amendment Bill 2023 be read a third time and do pass.
As returned by the President.
As returned by H.E. the President, be read the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Employment Amendment Bill 2023, as returned by His Excellency the President, be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Employment Amendment Act 2025.
Bill passed and title settled.
Bill second reading. The Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister, would you love to move a motion to the second reading of your bill? Honorable Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker and colleagues, I beg to move a motion that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by the Prime Minister, Government Chief Whip, Chair Finance, AG, Defense, Karamoja Fair, Shatis, Pius, Butaleja, Pascal, Milton, Lebutong, Dr. Peya, Omoding, her granddaughter, Emmanuel, Dr. Elisha, Connie, by the hollow side on my right. By Asman. Yes. Would you justify? Brief justification. It is a straightforward bill.
Madam Chair, Speaker rather, sorry. This is a straightforward bill only seeking to revise the excise duty payable in respect of undernatured spirits. As simple as that.
Thank you. We passed the exercise duty amendment bill here, and the amendment is what is being brought. Now, can I call the chairman to give us a brief?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. The assignment was given to the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the 4th of this month. The committee has sat and considered the amendment and hereby reports. Allow me to lay, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the minutes.
It is a self-explanatory bill. Can you give us a summary?
Let me lay the original report and the minutes, and I go direct to the observations of the committee.
Observations and recommendation.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to agree that this amendment should be straightforward, and these are the observations and recommendations made by the committee. The committee observed that indeed the COVID-19 epidemic is now under control and there is no longer a need to provide for exemption. The committee agreed with the minister the proposed amendment is timely. The committee first observed that the Parliament last amended the excise duty in July 2024, and therefore the amendment has operated for a period of at least 8 months. The minister, however, did not inform the committee about the performance of previous amendments, but promised to avail the information. The impact, therefore, of the justification for amendment was not availed. The committee noted that there is no justification, projections of the collections, nor any analysis of the losses. However, government so far, therefore, necessitates the amendment. The committee observed that the equal treatment of the two, which were considered for the local raw materials and those imported for undetatured spirits, makes locally produced undetatured spirits uncompetitive alongside the imported, thus discouraging local manufacturers. The stakeholders agreed with the proposed amendment. They submitted that the reduction in excise duty on locally produced raw materials will encourage local manufacturers, promote more sales, and also help to curb the illicit trade in alcohol. And of course, that goes far to encourage local employment and growth of the industry and purchase of the raw materials from the farmers. Therefore, the committee recommends 1. Proposals of amendment of any tax bill should be based on research in future. 2. The Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 be passed. Hereby report.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And honorable members, since we are in the budgeting process, it's just prudent enough that whatever is outstanding on the tax bills should be in line with the accounting process. We must finish the accounting cycle, and in finishing the accounting cycle, we must finish what is pending. And these are two bills that are pending: the excise duty and income tax. Yes. And it's a very straightforward bill.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to agree that this bill is straightforward. However, the committee raises serious issues and omissions, which I hope, as we process the other bills that will be coming the next financial year, that the Ministry of Finance actually complies with these very serious omissions.
Yes.
Because it's wrong for us to make amendments without giving proper research. Because the committee even states that the Ministry of Finance did not actually present the performance of these 8 months that this bill or the act has been in operation. So it's important that the Ministry of Finance does not take this house for granted and think that we are just senior 6 leavers. We read.
No, they did not talk about senior 6 leavers.
No, it's my statement, right, Honorable Speaker.
We are not senior 6. I am a senior don, for your information.
Madam Speaker, of course.
All we need is a commitment from the minister that you must do what the committee has recommended.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable
Honorable
Speaker.
Minister.
That's my statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the committee has expressed concern that our proposals should always be informed by research. And I want to commit that when we are doing other bills in April, we shall, as much as practicable, ensure that we provide all the information the committee and Parliament requires.
Thank you. I now put the question that the Exercise Duty Amendment Bill be read for the second time. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Clause 1, Chair. The only no amendment. I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary.
Right Honorable Chair, I need your guidance. We are only proposing to amend the schedule, not the
Which
clause.
is a clause. Which is a clause.
No. It's a schedule.
Amendment of CAB 336. Oh.
Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I beg to move a motion that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House does resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill entitled the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 and passed it with no amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Excise Duty Amendment Act 2025.
Bill passed and title settled.
Bill second reading, the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker and colleagues, I beg to move a motion that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Honorable Members, Section 8 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 highlights the importance of tax bills in achieving the objective of the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility, and as such, the timeliness of consideration of the tax bills by Parliament is very, very important. Today, we shall exercise our efficiency in the disposal of all the pending tax bills, including the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 that the committee has not finalized, because we cannot hold the budgeting process because we are waiting for the committee, and yet it is on the same matter. It has only one amendment and we will not wait for that. Is the minister's motion seconded? Is the minister's motion seconded? Seconded by Attorney General, by a government chief whip, by leader of government business, by Honorable Eseno, Honorable Pesh, Honorable Margaret, Honorable Nakasongola, Honorable Mamae, Honorable Mugisha, Sarah, Honorable Atima, Honorable Donald, Honorable Milton, Honorable Pascal, Honorable Jessica. When I see you sitting, and yet you know very well, honorable members, you know what they call accounting cycle. You, Honorable Query, Dr. Buka, Akifesa, Okorach, Gafabusa, Honorable Gwang, Honorable Phyllis, Honorable Honorable Chua, Honorable Barunji Bundibujo, Queenie Dancer, Hoima, Honorable Kabanda. Yes, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister.
Thank you.
One thing that I want to reiterate is what Honorable Sarah Opendi said, that in the next time, you must have sufficient study on all these rules, and because you should have sufficient study, you must be able to give the figures in your study to the committee. Yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill is seeking to amend Section 21 of the Income Tax Act to exempt the income of the Besigye hydropower project from tax. Why are we doing this? Madam Speaker, the corporate income tax waiver Madam Speaker, when the corporate income tax waiver is not extended, the projected Besigye Energy Limited generation tariff will increase by 15.5% from US cents 8.31 per unit to US cents 9.60 per unit. And the electricity end user tariff is projected to increase by a weighted average end user tariff from a weighted average of Uganda shillings 459.8 per unit to Uganda shillings 481.7 per unit. In addition, Madam Speaker, by not extending corporate income tax waiver, it affects the economic position of Besigye Energy Limited because the corporate income tax is recoverable from electricity tariff through UETCL. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, right.
Yes, it is a procedure matter. Sumani.
Honorable Speaker, so often a time the presiding officer, when there is a motion and it is being seconded, the presiding officer usually mentions and describes certain people. Sometimes he will say
Honorable
Haji,
Akiki,
sometimes Queen Dancer,
Masindi.
sometimes Mukatuliki, sometimes Karachuna. So for hazard purposes, it becomes extremely difficult. But, Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedurally right for the presiding officers to mention people's names and constituencies first? Then me, I am a Salongo, can say Basali Rosman Salongo, so that the record captures your heart.
Thank you, Honorable. What is your name? What's your name? Okay. Honorable Akiki Florence of Masindi is there, and she happily loves the name. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I think the continued exemption of Besigye, which we've done now for over 5 years, should exemplify the burden that Ugandans have that operate their private businesses with the taxes that we mount on them. If a multinational comes here seeking exemptions every the other time, that means an ordinary Ugandan investor doing business cannot survive in this framework. We have to revisit the tax regime that we have vis-a-vis business performances. Like the Right Honorable Speaker posed and asked, how much are we exempting them? You've never made this computation. It's like we are giving them blanket all the time. You will not pay corporation tax. Can you tell us
how much revenue they raised in income. The other time that we are going to exempt them. So it's 5 years. Have you exempted them $600 million, $700 million? Is this a bottomless pit? I beg your pardon, that ordinary Ugandans have to pay tax, but Mr. Besigye should not pay corporation tax. Live with all the profits in the name of subsidies at the power tariff. Please, Ugandans deserve a better answer. We deserve much better. The fact that every investor that comes to Uganda, the only promise the Uganda government gives them other than free land is tax holidays, shows that the tax regime that we have cannot guarantee success to anyone ordinarily doing business, other than leading to collapse. Therefore, please address that. I know you always tell us the tariffs will go high so that we start shaking. But please give us the computation of what we are exempting these guys. At the end of the day, you're bringing it every single year, every single year, every single year. And this parliament is being held accountable for passing such exemptions without making due research.
Thank you. Honorable members, the issue of disagreements, the issue of these tariffs. Just a minute, Law. The issue of these tariffs arose from the power purchase agreement between Ugandan government and Besigye Energy Limited, which was passed on 8th December 2007. I don't know, you were in the house in that time. So the people who made it...
Madam Speaker, I wasn't here in 2007.
In 2007. People like, I don't see the people who were here. Those are the people who made a mistake at that time. So Moses, you're not there. Moses, are you sure? Okay. So we are inheriting. I've not given you to talk. We are inheriting the problems of that time. Yes, Lob.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the fundamental question about this exemption of Jakari should be how it is going to lower the end user electricity tariff. Because already the generation tariff by Besigye has threatened going to almost 10 US cents. And the extra large industrial consumers will be up in arms because they were only waiting for this to happen. Madam Speaker. No.
Honorable members, you've heard we need a study on this, and the mistake was made in 2007, which needs to be corrected, and we cannot do that now. And since we are going into the budgeting process, I now put a question that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 be read the second time. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Clause 1. I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I put a question that clause 2 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the resumption of the House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports there too.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of the whole House reports there too. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker and colleagues, I beg to report
Honorable
that the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 and passed it without amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable
Madam
Minister.
Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report of the Committee of the whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill third reading, the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Income Tax Amendment Act 2025.
Bill passed and title settled. Honorable members, I know Honorable Osman is looking for his votes outside there. The voters have already accepted to give you. Honorable members.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for approval of tax waivers for selected local entities.
Honorable members, you will recall that in 2024, this House amended Section 40, subsection 2 of the Tax Procedure Code Act to condition the grant of tax waivers by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to the parliamentary approval. In 2024, the Minister tabled the request of parliamentary approval for proposed tax waivers to selected local entities. This request was referred to the Sectoral Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The committee is ready to report with its findings. However, to fulfill the procedural requirements, I will invite the Minister of Finance to move a motion for approval of tax waivers. Thereafter, I will invite the chairperson of the committee to present his report to the House. Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion for consideration of my request to Parliament for tax waivers in accordance with pursuant to Section 40 of the Tax Procedures Code Act, and Madam Speaker, I think I will mention the companies at the next stage. I beg.
Okay, thank you. Seconded. Seconded by Chair of Finance, Attorney General, public service, veterans, Karamoja, Honorable Gwang, Honorable Kavanda, Honorable Nekesa, Honorable Bunyole, Honorable Rampara, Honorable Serere, Zombo, Koboko, Emmanuel, Kafesa, Akifensa, Avuru, Kunihira, Elders, Afidra, Johnny Faith, my uncle, Patience. You know, for us with an uncle, we don't mention the name. Basil, Donald, Dr. Abuka, Honorable Chua, Honorable Phyllis, Honorable Atima, Honorable Max Eseno, Mugisha, Shema, Nakasongola, Chankwanza Nakasongola Ania. And then is Buheshu, Dr. Tala, Sarah, my auntie Faith, Ginger. Would you want to speak to your motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I presented a list of companies to be granted tax waiver by Parliament pursuant to Section 40, actually Section 43(2) of the Tax Procedures Code Act. And the companies are the following: Makerere Business Institute, an amount of 239,306,340 shillings owed in tax liability. Company 2 is Nkumba University, is owed pay as you earn in excess of 4.4 billion shillings. Company 3 is J2E Investment Corporation Limited, which is owed J2E Investment Corporation Limited, which is owed an amount of 2.7 in value added tax. Company 4 is Donatika Nanra, who is owed rental income of 2 billion, rental income tax of 2 billion and 1.695 billion. So these are two. Then company 5 is MS Nicotra Limited, which has a tax liability in VAT of 931.9 million. And company 6 is actually this is an individual, Mr. Peter Rokwang.
Is it this Rokwang of ours?
Peter Rokwang, Ero. Rokwang. Do we have an MP called
No, I'm
Rokwang?
saying, is it Rokwang, our MP?
No, Madam Speaker, in my...
No, it's okay, allow the...
Madam Speaker, this is another Rokwang. At least I have not interacted with the only member here, the only company who has a member of parliament behind it, is Makerere Business Institute. But this other Okwanga is someone else
Who is the
from
member?
not in parliament. This one has, the member is called Itungo, Honorable Itungo Nathan, from Kashari. We have, Rokwanga is 385.1 million. And then we have Busoga University, which has a tax liability in pay as you earn of 783 million. Madam Speaker, I don't know how much time we have. Can I go into detail? Okay, thank you.
We don't have much time.
Madam Speaker, under MBI, what are the grounds for the waiver? One,
Did you read Kinkisi Hospital?
Chisi's Hospital, I am about to come to it. Madam Speaker, the grounds under Makerere Business Institute are the following. One, the liability arose from an assessment done by URA. Two, the institution faced financial hardships due to the after effects of COVID-19, whereby the students' number drastically dropped from 326 students in 2018 to 162 students in 2023. This made it difficult for the institution to survive while paying the tax liability. Three, the institution is of strategic significance to achieving government's development objectives, particularly in the area of human capital development. The financial hardships faced by the institute posed a big threat to the institution's continuity as a viable academic institution. Thus, the need for government's intervention to ensure the continuity of normal operations of the institution and avoid disruptions. Pay as you earn under Nkumba University. Madam Speaker, the grounds under Nkumba University are the following. The university has faced financial hardships due to a reduction in revenue majorly because of a drop in the number of students from 6,000 to 3,500 students. This, among others, pushed the university to defer salary payments during the COVID-19 lockdown. The university monthly wage bill of Uganda shillings 415.17 million was deferred due to financial difficulties faced by the university, and all staff contracts were suspended effective 1st August 2020. The university has a huge number of unrealized accounts or accounts receivable from students that default in paying tuition. Additionally, the university is battling with a number of court cases while at the same time servicing a lot of loans. Under J2E Corporation is in the business of building and construction. The company was registered on 29th August 2010. The company paid taxes amounting to Uganda shillings 1.796 billion prior to COVID-19 and Uganda shillings 81.56 million after COVID. With respect to VAT, pay as you earn, and income tax. Overall, the total VAT contribution by the taxpayer is Uganda shillings 1.74 billion to date. J2E investment has faced financial challenges that have constrained resumption of works at Kawaweta Recruits Training School, Army School for A2 UPDF soldiers. Following suspension of the construction works due to several reviews by different government agencies. To that end, the contractor is unable to pay the tax liability and at the same time resume and complete works at Kawaweta Recruits Training School within the contractual budget. Under Donat Kananura, the grounds of the waiver are that the company faced hardships occasioned by his medical condition, which required expensive
Mr. Minister, please
treatment
take your seat.
abroad.
Very kindly take your seat. Madam Speaker, as you're fully aware, today is Thursday, and our rules of procedure are very clear. And it's once in a blue moon for us to have a Prime Minister. Madam Speaker, your fellow citizens mark this date because it is gazetted specifically for the Prime Minister's time. Madam Speaker, wouldn't it be procedural right for us to have the Prime Minister take us through what is on our agenda today, and then we can have this accommodated in next week's plenary. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Amos, can you give us a recommendation and observation and recommendation, and we give Prime Minister?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and
After
colleagues.
it was uploaded.
The Honorable Minister has done justice to the details. Allow me to lay the minutes and the copy of the report. I'll just, like guided, I'll go straight to the recommendations. Observations, recommendations. Our honorable colleagues, I will start with Busoga University. The observations that we made were the following: that the Ministry of Education's budget is constrained to settle said obligations. This is still facing challenges in mobilizing funds to clear the other bulk of liabilities which the university owed to various entities and individuals. Recommendation: the committee recommends that Parliament approves the request of the Busoga University for waiver of Uganda shillings 783,180,494 Uganda shillings. Right Honorable Speaker, the next entity or person that was requested was Donat Kananura, and the request was withdrawn by the minister because it had gaps. That was not considered by the committee. The next is Chisizi Hospital Power Limited. The committee considered this, and these are the observations. The committee observes that Chisizi Hospital Power Limited has...
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a very important issue, and now that you have guided the chair to go straight to the recommendations of the committee, I see on my iPad, I don't know others, the report is corrupted. We cannot open it. At least when we are supporting, we should support something that we have details of. We seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker, to direct that the report is uploaded again so that we are able to follow. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
How come that I can download?
It can't open on our iPads, Madam Speaker.
IT, can you help?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I had mentioned the next entity that we are considering for waiver is Chisizi Hospital Power Limited. I had mentioned the following are the observations of the committee. That Chisizi Hospital Power Limited has contributed to the economic and social stability of the area of operation and supplying of 60 kilowatts to the hospital, and balance sold to over 500 households. And therefore, there is an economic case to be made that due to the company's positive contributions to the community, its application for tax waiver should be scrutinized with due regard to its contribution of the area. Now, Chisizi Hospital Power Limited has faced various challenges and increased its fixed cost, including replacement of the aged electricity poles and so on. Thirdly, the Chisizi Hospital Power Limited has been a compliant taxpayer since its inception by missionaries in 1958. Recommendation: having analyzed the grounds upon which the waiver of the VAT areas is sought, the committee recommends waiver of outstanding VAT areas for the Shizu Hospital Power Limited, equivalent to 77,696,058 shillings. I submit. Next is Mr. Lokwang Peter. The committee observes the tax obligation as a licensee, that Mr. Lokwang Peter is designated as a licensee and requires to withhold tax on payments made on non-exempt supplies. As per Section 119 of the Income Tax Act Cap 340, this obligation is a fundamental part of his tax responsibility as a mining licensee. He has accordingly complied with all the assessed withholding tax remittances since 2013. Pre-registration assessment and tax liability. Yes, the URA has issued audits, has done audit and conducted by the URA, resulting in the assessment of withholding tax not being registered withholding tax agent at the time. Mr. Lokwang informed the committee that the price he has charged for his supplies did not provide for withholding tax allowances. Before 2013, I beg your pardon, the suppliers of limestone from whom Lokwang supplied were not sensitized about the requirement of paying withholding tax. From 2013 on going forward, the suppliers sensitized have been paying their tax obligation. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee recommends the Parliament approves the tax waiver for Mr. Peter Lokwang, withholding tax liability equivalent to 385,145,772 Uganda shillings only as principal and interest. The committee further recommends that URA registers all mineral value chain participants in the country for purposes of tax remission as provided for in the various tax heads. Right Honorable Speaker, the next entity is J2E Investment Corporation Limited. The committee observed that the corporation constructed the Ministry of Defense to construct the following facilities.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you've been very emphatic in your presentation and disclosure to this country. You disclosed Mr. Donat Kananura, Mr. Lokwang. I know the company is a person, but it has shareholders. You even disclosed one of our members, the Honorable Itungo, in Makerere Business Institute. Who is J2? Yes, please. Yes, give us the owners of J2 so that we know.
Further clarification, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to inquire from the committee chairperson whether they undertook to understand from the minister the way people get to know and access these waivers. Yes, it's not there.
Honorable members, J2 is also for one of the members, a person with a disability, if I can remember best. Elder. Yes. Yes. I remember the person coming to my office.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. You've said it exactly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Chair, they have given me procedure.
The committee observed the corporation.
The procedure matter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Actually, I want to ask through you. If
Honorable members, please. You know
Madam
why
Chair,
you made that provision? Is for those people to be able to request for a waiver in case. Mine is also going to come. Anyway, we made a provision it is upon the committee to determine whether it's eligible or not. So let's allow the committee to present.
Procedure. Right, Honorable Speaker, because in our
I was
rules
still on
of
the floor.
procedure,
Wait.
there is disclosure.
Full disclosure is very important.
Disclosure because of conflict of interest. And in any case, it would look very ugly if we, the people who mount these taxes on people, come and sit here and exempt ourselves from paying taxes. At least let's name ourselves so that we know, so that a headline doesn't come out and says MPs presented their companies and exempted themselves. So that it's known, like Honorable Itungo was named through MBI, which is not bad. And the justification
just
was
like
given.
he has a right to do business.
Absolutely.
And if he has a problem, it does not
absolutely, but let
stop him.
Let that person be
Yes.
named, other than a headline
Yes.
coming out in the papers that MPs.
Madam Chair, I wanted to defer with Honorable Msireko. All this information is well laid down on the in the minutes and the report. Madam Chair, my suggestion would be
we are not
the
all
chair,
members of the committee.
No, but the report is there. But Madam
Honorable
Chair,
Chair,
my procedure issue, Madam Chair.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair.
Order.
We are not privy to that information. Honorable Elijah used it. Honorable Chair, we are not privy to that information. And if the, like what Honorable Minister said, this institution belongs to Honorable Ntungo. He had the challenges, he had all that. And I mean, it's just good. It's understandable. You get it, eh? And then others. Go ahead. Yes. There is no illegality there. No illegality.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Lokwang's exemption is allowed. Lokwang, not Ogwang, Lokwang.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we received the details and I was trying to remember, like you've said, one of the shareholders is a member. I don't remember
Honorable
the name of
Besigye.
Yes, Honorable Besigye, and the son who is Eria. I remember one name, Eria. That's what I remember. The records are on the minutes. That's all. No, it's okay. I'm not even on. Right Honorable Speaker, this company did construction of 24 classroom blocks, 36 dormitories at Kaweweta, Parade Square, Valley Dam with 1.2 trillion liters of water, water reservoir for Special Forces Training Center, staff quarters for 180 families, 112 kilometers of security roads, grading of internal road networks, fencing of the barracks, construction of 7 senior staff quarters, construction of the administration block, construction of the armory, construction of prisons. We have observed, therefore, that this company has done construction since 2017. And therefore, the committee established that the principal tax and the accumulated tax areas arose out of VAT-able supplies from which the company should have remitted appropriate VAT to URA. Due to the delayed payments from the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, the taxpayer was not able to remit the assessed taxes. 7 years after the work stalled, prices of the materials have risen significantly, and even if the entire contract price was paid, the company would not be able to pay both the tax areas and complete the works at the unfinished buildings. And therefore, the committee recommends that Messrs. J2E Corporation be granted the tax waiver amounting to Uganda shillings 2,780,116,592 shillings only. The next entity is Nkumba University. Nkumba University, as we are all aware, is a private charter university through legal notice number 3 of 2007. Observations. The committee observed, 1, the reduction in enrollment was so sudden as a significant number of students on private sponsorship or scholarships were forced to drop out when their benefactor failed to pay tuition. Management was forced to downsize on the number of employees, while at the same time faced with an immediate provision for gratuity. The committee observed that the university cash flow situation forced management to ration cash availability between wage, gratuity, and other supplies. The effect of this was the inability to remit pay as you earn. The university is currently tax compliant. Awarding the university the sole tax waiver would enable them to maintain a tax compliant position and afford the institution the ability to operate normally. Recommendation: the committee recommends that the tax waiver equivalent to Uganda shillings 4,479,421,190 shillings be granted to Nkumba University to settle the outstanding pay-as-you-earn tax arrears. The next entity is Messrs. Nicotra Limited. Nicotra is a company fully owned, a Ugandan fully owned company. The main business activity of the company is civil engineering, majoring on road construction. Other lines of business carried out by the company include stone quarry, sale of aggregate, quarry dust, concrete products, and rental. I don't know them. Observation. The committee observes that the company is not able to benefit from the waiver of interest and penalty under Section 40D of the Tax Procedures Code Act, since it requires that the principal must be settled, remitted first as a prerequisite requirement. The company has fulfilled its tax obligation despite its financial constraints. Recommendation: the committee recommends that Parliament approves 931,935,420 shillings for Nicotra to enable it to settle its outstanding VAT liability. Makerere Business Institute. As you are aware, this is a tertiary institution offering higher education, both certificates and diplomas. The committee observes that the institution has since then become tax compliant, awarding the institution the sought waiver would enable them maintain a tax compliant position and afford the institution an ability to operate normally. There was a drastic reduction in enrollment within the time frame of the institution and is stated as a case for the tax liability. Recommendation: the committee recommends that the tax waiver equivalent to Uganda shillings 239,306,340 shillings be approved from Makerere Business Institute to enable it to settle its outstanding obligations. Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable members, it is a direct thing. They have been explaining on each of them. Yes. Honourable Asuman.
Asuman is comfortable.
His government, eh?
I know he's
Honourable Asuman.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I did raise an issue that I thought the committee interrogated, and that relates to the transparency of generally waivers and exemptions, the provisions in the law notwithstanding, it is important as a committee, but also as Parliament, to provide guidance to the public, so that at the end of it all, we know because the provision in the law in itself is not complete. How does a peasant from, where does Musasizi come from? Minister Musasizi. Where does a peasant from deep, where he comes from, there in Kabale, get to know about these opportunities? So I thought that perhaps we would have some sort...
Honorable Member, the peasant from Yik, from Bukedea, is represented in the House. It is the Member of Parliament who is representing that peasant who is not doing his or her work.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker, I am raising...
And let's avoid sleeping on our jobs. We must tell our people what they are entitled.
So let me put it to the committee, Right, Honourable Speaker. Let me now, I will not go into a fight with the presiding officer because I can't manage, as you are aware. Let me ask the committee chairperson whether they interrogated these issues of transparency, of information, the provisions in the law notwithstanding. Because the Honorable Muhammad Nsereko Al-Hajj and the President of Revolutionary Front was talking about the danger
Honorable Member,
of being misunderstood as Parliament. So Chair, maybe throw some light. I thank you,
Honorable Member, one thing you should remember, that the chairperson of the committee is having delegated powers of Parliament, and
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I agree with what you've answered, the Honourable Member, but I just want to add a small thing. That the procedure is that if you have any wish to have a waiver, you apply through URA, and URA does an audit to go through the process and recommends to the Ministry, and the Ministry brings it to Parliament for us to handle. Yes.
And then one thing that you need to know is that finance does not pick cash to give to the company. It does not pick cash. Yes?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker.
I hope you will not complain on Prime Minister's time.
No. Right Honourable Speaker, when it comes to matters of taxation, we are all passionate. Right Honourable Speaker, since COVID, it's been reported that over 15,000 small businesses closed shop as a result of overhead costs that they could not meet, inclusive of taxes. Many people have had their businesses closed down and seals put on their businesses by URA. I actually believe you when you say probably they don't have the information on where to go. And probably we could have done more to alert our people that there is an avenue of waiver. However, today, what is happening is that all businesses in Uganda, in fact, if we stated that today, you would see a queue of people from here up to Masaka probably. And the reason would be is that nearly all businesses are struggling because of the heavy burden of taxes. So the issue we should box ourselves into is as to whether it's still tenable to operate under this tax regime and we have survival of businesses to see their 3rd or 5th birthdays. Because businesses are going under par as a result of the burden on taxes. It is expensive to access capital, like you know. At the end of the day, you compete with people in the name of investors, which is okay, who are given taxes exemptions, as the ordinary Ugandan borrows heavily at a high cost and meets all taxes. So, if I do not say that these people do not deserve it, they indeed do, just like other Ugandans that are struggling with their businesses deserve this. So the best thing we should do, ladies and gentlemen, as legislators, as people that are responsible for taxation, now that we've realized that it pinches us, just like the way it pinches the ordinary people, why don't we sit down and realize that for someone to pay those high taxes, they might never see business growth? And we sit here and agree with the Minister of Finance to lower the taxes so that businesses survive. And in any case, we can also agree to waive penalties. Penalties, because very many people are struggling with penalties, Mr. Chairman. If we can waive penalties for this financial year and the next financial year, probably we might save many businesses.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chairman,
there's information from the chair.
Thank you.
The chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my colleague and senior friend, Muhammad Nsereko. Indeed, he is spot on in trying to support our small businesses coming up. And in that spirit, we have just approved the amendment of Section 40D of the Tax Procedures Code, where we waive off the interest and penalty. And indeed, we think in the coming amendments that are being proposed, it would be proper that we equally do it to encourage them to pay their obligations and encourage them to keep in business. He's right.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. You've heard, and that will solve the problem of the small taxpayers. I put a question that the House approves the proposed tax waivers for selected local entities as contained in the minister's motion. Those in favor say under control nay. The ayes have it. And this will take effect from the day the approval, which is today. Next.
Item 7 on the order paper. Statement by the Right Honorable Prime Minister on government business for the succeeding week, 25th to 27th February 2025.
Honorable Minister. Bugabula, you want to shed us in the House?
Yes, Madam
Right
Speaker.
Honorable Speaker. And honorable members.
Prime Minister, Madam Speaker,
I
had
move
given me
under Rule
chance for 1 minute.
28 of our Rules of Procedure to Right Honorable Speaker, below is the business for the succeeding week. The Mortgage Refinance Institution Bill 2024. Number 2 is the UPDF Amendment Act 2024. Number 3, the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries will present a statement to the House on the financing scheme to private large-scale commercial farmers under the strategic intervention to boost food and animal feed security. Number 4, the Minister of Works and Transport will update the House on the status of roads and drainage systems in Kampala, capital city, and metropolitan area. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Prime Minister for informing us about the business for the next week. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I was trying to look through some of the statements that the Prime Minister brings here, and then you find that the ministers do not actually bring those, the statements to the House. So I am wondering, Right Honorable Speaker, what we should actually do. If a Prime Minister tells us that in the succeeding week we shall have statements from Minister, for example, there was Minister of Health on monkeypox. This was 6th. There was the Uganda Railways Bill 2024. There was also the Water Minister of Water and Environment. And these ministers do not show up. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I am just seeking for your guidance. Procedurally, what should we actually do if these ministers do not show up? Shouldn't the Prime Minister maybe look at what was not done, and then maybe she comes and tells us why these ministers maybe could not have presented these bills or statements?
Honorable members, indeed that happens. We are going to, it's good we have passed the rules. We are going to have a committee of legal scrutiny. This committee will be making a follow-up. If what has been brought into the floor has not been what is being passed, the committee should be able to make a follow-up and see how it can be handled. You will find the Prime Minister will bring here, and she will not, she's a very busy person. She will not be knowing whether these people have come to present. So that committee should be able to help us. It will be a whip. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, it is my responsibility to whip ministers to come and present government business as agreed. For example, today I want to apologize on behalf of the Ministry of Water. The Minister, Honorable Cheptoris, is very sick, so he could not come. The Minister of State is representing our country in Ethiopia. The Minister of State yesterday got a problem. She's having some health problems also. So today, if I was consulted, I would have told you that that ministry may not be present, because I know. I request, Right Honorable Speaker, before the business is put on the order paper, I request that you consult me.
Honorable Prime Minister.
I've been asking for this because I would have told you that ministry has a problem. Not legally, but we can on phone through our technical people. It is good practice that we consult. I'm the leader of government business. I usually find the order paper already out. Sometimes when my ministers, I know because I'm the one who gives them permission to travel. So I would have maybe told you that Honorable Anywa is out, and the line minister is sick, and the junior minister is equally also sick.
Prime Minister, one of my roles and cardinal role is to respect government business. That is number one. And we have an office of leader of government business. These people should have given that information. The order paper came out too early. And if it came early, again, if we were to put work coming from opposition or private members, the government would again complain. So we are going to do it, we will continue, but leader of government business office should always inform you. And the good thing, you have a very good director who reports directly to you. But on the issue of the order paper, we always circulate it. And if you tell us these people are not there, we shall not read when it is that time. Yes. Some of these things are for internal management. Honourable members, next.
Item 8 on the order paper, Prime Minister's time.
Prime Minister has asked for time to go and meet another Prime Minister. Okay.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Asuman, can't you respect?
This one
Can't
is
you
my
respect your Jaja?
This one is my grandmother. She can't stop me.
Can't you respect Jaja?
This one is my grandmother. She cannot stop me from talking.
Okay, let me stop you.
How can my grandmother stop me from
I have
talking?
stopped you.
Jaja, don't put them. Let me talk.
No, let me, honorable members, my grandson knows that my office is quite busy. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are having a visiting Prime Minister from Belarus, and I want to go and welcome the. Now, I wanted to suggest, Right Honorable Speaker, that now that the written questions are already uploaded, and members can access these ones, I would just sit for some time to get urgent issues, because they already have this.
Okay. How many are you ready to receive? 10. Richard.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Bondibujo District, we are in fear. In a period of 1 week, 2 schools have been burnt. Nyauka Parents Secondary School was burnt last week in broad daylight. And that school belongs to Honorable Acrobat Kiza Moses of Bugendera County, but is in my constituency in Nyauka Town Council. Yesterday, another school was burnt in broad daylight, St. Padre Pio Primary School, and the property worth millions of shillings lost. But in a period of 1 year, we have had 8 fires targeting schools, and about 6 of them are in the same town council, Nyahuka. Our prayers.
Honorable Gaffer, just go straight to the point.
Yes, our prayers, Right Honorable Speaker. 1, we need government to come in and help us to find out what is causing these fires. Number 2, and most important, is that we do not have firefighting equipment in the neighborhood. The nearest is in Fort Portal, and from Fort Portal to Bondibujo, those who have been there, the earliest it will take you is 2.5 hours. By the time they reach, they will not save anything.
Thank you. That's
Police
the first.
responds, but they are incapacitated. Would you give us a firefighting equipment in Bondibujo, considering our unique location and terrain, so that we are able to respond and save property and life?
Semakula, you write them, then you answer at once and you go.
Right Honorable Speaker, I know the Minister of Education is here, but this one now requires my sectoral approach. I will request the member to put that one in writing so that I cause a meeting involving Minister of Education, for safety measures, Minister of Internal Affairs.
Plus the member.
Plus the member, yes.
Yes.
And the district officials.
Thank
I will
you.
do that next week.
Thank you. Semakula, Jessica.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, 4 days back in the villages of Semuto sub-county, many people were attacked by panga welding men. Many of them were cut, and right now they are living in fear. So wanted to know, because people are supposed to do response.
They were cut and they died, or they were cut and they are living in fear?
They were injured. There were many who were injured. They were demanding for money and mobile phones. Whoever wouldn't provide, they would cut. So many villages of Kalege, Mvunano, I'm mentioning them because I understand, you know, most of these areas. So we are cut and people are living in fear. The nearby police station, which are supposed to respond, they don't have fuel, even they don't have motorcycles, so we don't know what to do. Especially in the neighboring sub-counties to Semuto. So want to know what government can do right now, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
The line minister, that is Ministry of Internal Affairs, is directed to investigate, but we are also implementing the presidential directive to have police posts per sub-county with 18 police officers. We have started. We are doing this in a phased manner. And I believe some members know that we have been providing police officers in your respective areas.
Thank
So
you.
I would also direct now that the IGP provides a police post in that place so that those people, the panga-wielding people, are arrested, but we are also going to investigate. Thank you so much.
But also it is good for you to put it down in writing. Jessica, Sarah.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. My problem is about many patients in Adjumani General Hospital are stranded, and others have resorted to local hubs because of the following reasons. One, internet connectivity is very poor, and therefore we cannot use the computerized system. Two, we have obsolete ultrasound machine and X-ray. Three, we don't have adequate space for our mothers and their babies. My prayers, Right Honourable Speaker, let the Prime Minister ensure that the old register system is revived to provide an alternative.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Yes, next one.
Let's first hear from Prime Minister. But for heaven's sake, a doctor to do a consultation, do you need the internet system and make a prescription?
Yes.
Speaker, they have been directed only to use computerized system. The old registers have been brought back to the ministry. That is the directive. Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, we are currently trying to computerize our systems. The President recently launched the provision of internet and we are rolling it out. We were in Karamoja. I believe we shall also go to Adjumani up to the last mile connection. And so I request members to be patient, but I will also talk to the Minister of Health to find out why we have gone full blast when we don't have internet. Maybe to have some, so that other areas where we are yet to connect internet maybe can be delayed. You know, we are moving at a high speed because of what you know. We don't want to leave anybody behind. And we are trying to digitalize almost all our systems.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I thank the Prime Minister. She mentioned about my issue briefly. But Right Honourable Speaker, it's true, government has deployed police officers in our sub-counties. And they are big in numbers, by the way. I have a sub-county that has 16, another sub-county has 15. But they have no accommodation, they have no offices, they have no motorcycles, and sometimes as members of parliament, we are called on to intervene. And already some police posts have issues. I have a police post at Kangwaji. They have occupied someone's building for almost a year without paying rent. So the Prime Minister will request that we intervene because these police officers are supposed to keep law and order. But they sleep in different places. How will they rescue a situation? Thank you, Right Honourable Prime Minister. And thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, the security of our people and their property is important. I know even in my area, There are some sub-counties that were provided with security, police, and they have no accommodation. So as communities, we are looking around because we were overwhelmed by thugs stealing our people's animals. So, but we are also going to provide some funding in the coming supplementary budget for police. I request that members, when this one come, we support police.
Thank you. Francis, Christine.
Francis, me. Right Honourable Speaker, thank you very much.
Not Chikove. But you can come after the ones who have been mentioned.
Right Honourable Speaker, over the weekend, were attacked by heavy rains. It was an attack. To use the language of in Buhunga sub-county, almost 4 villages have lost gardens, animals, schools, and plantations. We have written to the Prime Minister through our cow, and they asked me to come to this house and officially, in addition to writing, inform the Prime Minister to come to our rescue. So, Mr. Prime Minister, Madam Prime Minister, sir, can you direct?
Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know what the Prime Minister can do to stop rains. But the fact is, there is when we get harsh weather conditions and some people need support. So I will, tomorrow, I don't know whether the letter of the cow has already reached our office. We shall provide our usual humanitarian support. That's the food supplies and many other things. You are aware that recently my office gave you iron sheets to roof the church. Do you remember? I thought you would appreciate that one.
Thank you,
thank you.
Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Let Francis finish, then you speak, Christine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, last week, officials from the Kingdom of Bonyoro visited the sub-county of Changwali in the Chikobe district and surveyed land in the LCs or villages of Mandwiga, Unsozi, and Wairagaza, that they are going to evict people, that the land belongs to the kingdom, and they have been sent by the government. They were escorted by police and the UPDF. When we called the DPC, he instead kept quiet. I beg that the Prime Minister, good enough, she's from that area, she's born of that area, she belongs to that same kingdom, help us and visit the places, and perhaps give us wisdom of hope, or send the state minister in charge of that region to come and give us the real answers, whether our people are going to be evicted.
Honourable members, the laws that govern us are very clear. Nobody is supposed to evict a bona fide occupant. I will cause a meeting involving the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development with the local population, and the representatives may be the LOC5 and the RDC and the DPC. But as of now, using the powers vested in me as a Prime Minister, I stop that eviction.
Christian?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, what they call community radios